It's like stuck.
And inadvertently make the best case I have ever seen for online shopping. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Katie, and for those of you who don't know me, I used to weigh 360 pounds, and I've lost 180 pounds and kept it off for years now. And on this channel, we will discuss weight loss, weight maintenance, nonsense I see online about body positivity and fat acceptance, my experiences with all of that, and, well, anything else I feel like talking about. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and let's get into today's video. So today, I have several TikToks from our friend to the channel, Samyra, as well as another creator's response to our friend. And since we have several TikToks to get through, I'm actually going to go slip into something just a little bit warmer. It is really chilly in the room that I film in, so I will be right back. Whew, that is so much warmer. So why don't we all get cozy? Maybe grab ourselves a warm beverage? And let's go ahead and watch these TikToks together, and I'll give you my reactions along the way. Okay, so this first one, our friend is in the fitting room, and it says, POV, the stuck in the clothes panic sets in.
I'm glistening. It's like stuck. Yeah, this is coming off. Makeup still look good though.
All right, so there's the first one. And I have to admit, I definitely noticed several things in that TikTok. The first thing that really stood out to me is the fact that our friend here is in a fitting room, trying on clothing she hasn't purchased yet. And well, it's clear that this item didn't fit her. So I think the reasonable assumption is that item is going to end up back on the sales floor for somebody else to purchase, right? Well, our friend is admitting to glistening. So she's sweating in these clothes. And I mean, I don't know exactly where our friend is sweating, but there's a good likelihood that wherever the sweat is, some of that could have ended up on that garment. Trust me, if you've taken a SurfSafe course, you'll understand all of the ways that your sweat and everything else ends up in like people's food. So just kind of basing that off of what I know about that, yeah, there's a real good chance there's sweat on those clothes. So her bodily fluids on them. And we also see that she nearly got stuck in this. And not gonna lie, I think that has happened to a lot of people over the years. I mean, especially with women, considering how arbitrary sizing can be. But I know, at least personally, if I'm trying something on and I can already tell, like just pulling it up my legs or trying to put a jacket on, that there's no way something's gonna fit me if it's that tight. And so I would have stopped myself long before I found myself in that position, because I also have popped a lot of seams and stitches over the years trying to fit into things that didn't necessarily fit. I've also witnessed a number of people do this in fitting rooms over the years. And when I worked in retail, if that happened in the fitting room, we had to take it off the sales floor and couldn't sell it anyway. So if they're already complaining that they're having trouble finding these sizes in store, I would hope that our friend is going to be just a little bit more careful with the stock that they do have in store. Because personally, I would not be happy if I spent my hard-earned money on a new piece of clothing and found out that somebody else had already stretched it out and potentially left bodily fluids on it. But maybe that's just me. Let's go ahead and take a look at this next one. Okay, and yet again, our friend is in the fitting room, and this time it says, POV. The plus sizes only come in black, but she wanted colors.
Okay. Oh shit. Wait. This is how we get more room. We pull up as much fabric as possible from the bottom and redistribute it to the top. Over the booty, over the booty, over the booty. Okay. Now this bra's a different story. It's pinching me, it's pinching me. Come on. Wait, they falling. Y'all think I'm supposed to go to the gym like this?
Okay, but does our friend here think that somebody wants to purchase those clothes after she just tried those on and stretched them out like that? I know I personally wouldn't be happy about that. It's one thing if I stretch out my own clothes, especially if I've already purchased them, but she knew the moment she put her leg into that was not going to fit. And yet we had to see her try to find more fabric by coming up through the calf all the way up to the top like she's putting on pantyhose or something. And then we see her go to the bra. I mean, I have to be honest. I know that these things probably do exist, but before social media, we at least had the suspension of disbelief. So I'm not really sure why our friend here, with the platform that she does have, I mean, she's got over 2 million followers on TikTok. So I'm not really sure why she thought this was a good idea to promote on her page. But as a former retail worker, you know, somebody who has had to clean up these fitting rooms or rehang merchandise or remove non-saleable items from the floor, I'm not really sure why she thought this was good behavior to promote on her page. And then the other thing I can't help but notice is it says the plus sizes only come in black. So is our friend telling us that they did have plus sizes in store, but somehow she found a way that it's not good enough? I mean, I understand the notion that we want things in different options, but this is not unique to plus sizes at all. Prime example that I can think of, I wear a very odd bra size. It's just not very common, is what I mean by that. So I have a fairly small band, but a large cup. And unfortunately, it's just almost impossible to find in stores most of the time. So trying to find anything in store in a 34 triple D, if I happen to win the lottery that day and come across a bra that will fit me, it's always going to be white, black, or beige. I don't get any colors. If I want colors, I'm going to have to come home and order it online. And, well, quite frankly, once I know my size, a lot of times that just makes it so much easier because I can usually find way more options online than what they even had in the store to begin with. So this whole notion of they only carry black, well, then that would indicate to me that they are carrying plus sizes in store. But now in order to prove her point, she's going to try to squeeze into something that she knows is not going to fit her just to try to prove that she wants different options than the ones they have in store. But let's go ahead and take a look at this next one. So this one, our friend is starting off in a store, not a fitting room, so I guess maybe that's encouraging. But she is responding to a comment that says, "Have you tried Fabletics? I hear they are size inclusive."
Good, how are you?
Good. Anything you were shopping for today?
Anything in a 4X top and bottom that's not black. So if
Okay, and yet again, our friend here is moving the goalposts. First, their argument was they needed to find their size in store. Then they wanted to find cute, trendy, stylish clothing in store. Now they can find what they're looking for apparently in black, but that's not good enough. They need multiple colors. So once again, it appears to be yet another moving target where our friend here isn't going to be satisfied unless she gets exactly what she wants. And another thing that I picked up on, and not just with this TikTok, but numerous TikToks for quite a while with our friend here on her page. She records a lot of retail workers, and I really hope that she is getting their permission before she records them, or at least lets them know that they could end up on her page. Now, I know she doesn't usually put their faces and will just have their voice on there, but I would not be happy if somebody was recording me and didn't bother to tell me, because when I worked customer service, it always tripped me out when people tried to record me. If I'm just being perfectly honest, especially as a female, it very much gave me a creep factor, if I'm just being honest, because I never knew why they wanted to record me or take my picture or something like that. And I don't know, perhaps this is just my own personal hang up because I did have stalkers at not one, but 2 different jobs. So I really hope that our friend here is at least letting the retail workers know that she is recording, or perhaps even asking their permission before she records them and then puts them online.
I found something that wasn't black, but they didn't have it in a 4X.
Okay, and again, is that implying that they did have it in a 4X in black? So they did have her size in store? Is that what she is implying? because that's what I'm getting from that. And so yet again, she is going to try something on that she knows is not her size.
How are you doing? Are you doing okay?
I'm struggling getting this one up, but I'm trying.
Oh no, that was not a struggle. Those pants clearly do not fit her, and our friend here is trying to pour herself into these pants. It's like watching 10 pounds of sausage trying to go into 2 pounds of casing. She knows that this is not going to fit her, and yet she's in there fighting for her life, trying to prove that it doesn't fit her, when in reality she could have just left the pants halfway up her thighs and we all could have understood from where they were at that that was never going to fit her. But it appears that our friend here wants to try to finish the job.
Oh, Lord. Something's not right. Now, y'all know good and well. This look crazy. I can't breathe.
No, it doesn't look crazy. She knew this was not going to fit her from the get-go. She knew they did not have her size in anything other than black, evidently. So for her to try this particular color on, she knew this was not going to fit her. It's not crazy. This is exactly the expected outcome, I would assume. Personally, if I went to go try on a small or an extra small in leggings, the same thing would happen. So it's not crazy, it just doesn't fit.
No, I can't breathe. The color's good. Look, I'm sweating. This is the workout, in fact.
Okay, and yet again, our friend is sweating all over clothing that she struggled to get herself into. And one's going to assume that those clothes are going to end back up on the rack. Yeah, this case just keeps getting stronger and stronger for me to purchase all of my clothes in perpetuity online. Oh my goodness. I have to say, after working all the years that I have in retail and just with the public in general, I sometimes lull myself into this false sense of security that I've seen it all and that there's not much that can shock me anymore. And then social media has proven me wrong over and over again because I definitely missed the suspension of disbelief of what went on in a fitting room. I definitely do. And seeing how much our friend was stretching those clothes out, I would be highly irritated if I had purchased those garments behind her. And then, especially knowing that she could have left her bodily fluids on them. I mean, yes, you can wash your clothes, clearly. But if fabric is stretched out, especially when we're talking about athletic wear like that, we're talking sports bras and leggings and things like that. Some of those items, once you stretch them out, there's no fixing them. You've stretched them out or you've popped seams or stitches, things that cannot easily be remedied, especially when you're purchasing a brand new garment and you shouldn't have to remedy anything because our friend here is literally just using these clothes as props for her videos. And in the meantime, spreading a whole bunch of terrible behavior that I am so thankful I do not work in retail anymore. I have to be honest. There were parts of it I absolutely loved, but I guarantee you that social media has made things so much worse for retail workers at this point that I cannot begin to express how grateful I am that I do not do that any longer. But our friend is not done with her fitting room antics. So let's go ahead and take a look at this next one and see what she has to say.
Well, for starters, you're incorrect. And for entrees, you must have never been inside a plus-size store before. But that's okay, because I'm gonna take you inside with me today. And then I want you to tell me, if they were to make your size, would you willingly shop here?
Okay, so she's talking about Lane Bryant, which is a store that I worked at for years. And, well, I definitely shopped there. As a matter of fact, the reason that I went and got a job there was because I did shop there and I wanted the discount, which was pretty generous. So let's go ahead and see what Lane Bryant looks like now. I'm actually genuinely curious.
Plus sizes. They said big bag bitch get to the bag. They said big bag bitch you want a snack. Well, this big bag bitch she got.
Okay, so we made it to the
Is that all she's going to show us at the store? Was that it? I mean, because I know that every Lane Bryant I've ever worked at is a much larger store than that. So surely they had more items for sale than what she showed us, right? There were no jeans at all. She didn't show cacique. She didn't show any casual items whatsoever. I mean, let me go back. Okay, so if I take a look at this shot right here, which shows the center aisle of the store, and that's going to have typically your seasonal items or the items that they want customers to focus on, like high ticket items right in the middle of the store. So I definitely see some seasonal sweatshirts. I see coats and jackets. And I got to be honest, that's already giving me hope because we didn't get too many winter coats or jackets when I worked at Lane Bryant. We might get occasionally a couple of styles in, but whatever we got in always sold out like immediately. So it looks like they may have expanded that because I'm seeing more than what was offered when I worked there. And I can see that this store goes back quite a bit. I mean, it's a fairly decent sized store. I see the whole cacique department in the back. I know for sure that the other side's got to be clearance or like deep sales over there. And then again, I know that they carry a lot of jeans. Like when I worked at Lane Bryant, core denim was like 40% of our sales or something. Like it was a big portion of our sales. So I'm genuinely curious why our friend here, if we're going to take this field trip with her and she wants to see if we actually want to buy anything here, why she didn't bother showing us the whole store. Okay, and then in this section, I see multiple racks full of different styles of dresses. And that leaves me very pleasantly surprised. Wow. When I was working there all those years ago, we definitely never got dresses at my home store. There was one store that was much higher volume than most of the other stores around us. And every once in a blue moon, they'd get like 1 or 2 styles of dresses in. And when I say 1 or 2 styles, that was the whole option. You didn't get other colors or other patterns. It was just, that was the dress that they carried, or maybe the 2 dresses that they carried for that season. And twice in all the years I was working there, we actually had a dress come through in a return from the other store. And yeah, that dress didn't even last the end of the business day because we had so many customers begging us to carry dresses. So I'm glad to see that they are. Like, I have to be honest, that's very surprising and a pleasant surprise to see. So, and the next section that she shows, that is very clearly the workwear side of Lane Bryant. So at least every store that I ever worked at, one side was going to have the more business casual or like workwear side of things. And then you had the entire side that was your casual side. All your jeans, all your t-shirts, maybe your tracksuits or your sweatshirts or just anything that was not super dressy ended up more on the casual side. So it's apparent to me that she is over in the dressier side of things, more the business casual or what people would wear to work side of things. And hey, they've got red blazers and red pants. That makes me really excited. Honestly, when I worked there previously, it was nothing but black, or if you were really lucky, you could get khaki or maybe a chocolate brown. So to see actual color, to see this in red, yeah, I can actually very much appreciate this. Again, I just wish our friend would have shown us the rest of the store because I know that there's so much more that they have for sale. So let's see how much footage of the store we actually just got. All right, we are at 14 seconds into the video when our friend opens the door into Lane Bryant. And 18, 19, 20 seconds we are into the fitting room. So our friend showed us 6 seconds or maybe slightly less of what they had for sale, and then is going to ask us to make an educated opinion as to whether or not we would actually wear these clothes. Gotta say, it doesn't really seem like our friend here wants to give this store a fighting chance. It seems like she has already made up her mind about it, and therefore assumes that nobody else would find anything appealing there whatsoever. But I guess it's her platform and she can cherry pick how she chooses, eh?
Okay, so we made it to the fitting room, and I must say, this is my first time seeing a baby chair in the fitting room. Period, Lane Bryant.
Plus sizes. They said big bag bitch.
Okay, if that's all she took into the fitting room, I can tell just by looking at that stack, those were all dressier items. She didn't grab anything that could have been casual or any jeans or anything else whatsoever. She went through and found all the business casual items that, I gotta be honest, we always sold out of because we had a lot of people who needed to come buy clothes for their jobs. So Let's see what our friend has to say about her selection of clothing.
Get to the bag. They said, big bag bitch, you want a snack? Well, this big bag bitch, she got the stack. So put big bag bitch clothes on the rack. Ooh, on the macaroni. Move and shake it for me. Ooh, we shaking and quaking the brands.
Is she sitting in the baby chair? Is she legitimately sitting in the baby chair? Again, oh my gosh, suspension of disbelief. I really wish we could go back to the time where we didn't see the inside of the fitting room and what people actually did to them, because I can't imagine that our friend here is under the weight limit. To be fair, I can't imagine that my 8-year-old daughter would be under the weight limit, and I wouldn't let her sit in it, but...
Phony. Ooh, the brands are phony. Ooh, they need a Tony. They need an Emmy, Oscar, Grammy, cause your shit's baloney. The way they be faking like they're making all the sizes. If you ain't got at least a 4...
And it's very clear to me, our friend here, like I said, it's very clear she has made up her mind about these clothes or this store long before she stepped foot in here. Because I've watched her style clothing. I have to be honest, she usually does a pretty decent job with it. And styling makes all the difference in whether or not you're wearing the clothes or the clothes are wearing you. And she hasn't put any effort into this. Not even the least little bit. If she's not even going to pull down the actual waistband of that sweater and just leave it all bunched up like that and be like, it looks terrible. Of course it does. It reminds me of like when I try to put shoes on my kids that they just don't want to wear whatsoever. And they sit there and bunch their feet up and then tell me their shoes don't fit. Like, I mean, I may have been born at night, but I was not born last night. And I know that our friend here can style clothing way better than what she is attempting in this video.
You ain't trying, ooh, so give it to us, baby, give us our gas. Give it to us when we step on the spot, ooh.
Now what y'all buying?
And I have to be honest, if I'm just giving my personal opinion here, I understand this might not be her style, but most of those clothes didn't look bad on her. They really didn't. And I wasn't alone in thinking that. I actually showed this video to my husband earlier because he knew I was filming. So I always kind of just let him know what I'm going to be reacting to and we'll watch it. And I look at his reaction as well. And he said the same exact thing. He couldn't understand what she was so upset about with these clothes. They looked nice on her. They looked well made. And I understand that every once in a blue moon, I didn't get the best quality thing from Lane Bryant. But sometimes I really do miss the quality of things there, especially the lingerie. The Cacique bras were fantastic. I miss them and I wish that I still could fit into them, to be perfectly fair. So she's going to ask this question of, well, would you wear it? Yeah, I absolutely would. The only reason I ever quit wearing Lane Bryant was A, I didn't get the discount anymore. And once you have the discount and then you no longer have the discount, you got to be a lot more creative with the sales and the coupons, let's be fair. But also, then now I've lost enough weight that I can't shop there even if I wanted to. So if they made it my size, absolutely I would. I'd go buy Cacique bras right here, right now, because I know how well they lasted for me, how well they lifted, like everything I look for, they did. So yeah. And she didn't bother to talk about that or show any of that section of the store because Cacique was insanely popular. So it goes to show to me that she did not give this a chance whatsoever. It again reminds me of when I'm putting something on my kids that they just don't want to wear and they're going to sit there and fight me tooth and nail when I'm putting it on them, when I know damn well it fits them and would look good on them if they would just give it a chance. I know that our friend can style clothing better than this. I know that Lane Bryant has way more to offer than what she showed. And I feel that this whole thing is nothing more than, yet again, using clothing as props and creating a whole charade to prove that she's right. When in reality, I actually saw clothes that looked quite nice on her, if I'm being perfectly fair. Again, I understand if it's not necessarily her style. But I also know that these are clothes that have always sold well when I worked at Lane Bryant. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see the other things that they've expanded upon, like their outerwear and their dresses, things that we were begging for when I worked there. So it does seem like this store actually is listening to their customers. I understand, again, this may not be her style, but what I don't think many people in this space, in this body positivity or fat acceptance space, realize that a lot of people actually do like those clothes. And when I worked at Lane Bryant, we were kind of in a strange transition, okay? At that time when I was working there, they were owned by Charming Shops, which owned also Catherine's and Fashion Bug, which, if you know, you know, I miss the bug. Oh my goodness. But that was a transition away from Lane Bryant's previous owners, which had been The Limited. Now, when their parent company was The Limited, guess what Lane Bryant did? They completely rebranded and retooled a lot of their clothing and tried to skew to a much younger demographic, give everybody the cute, trendy, stylish clothing they wanted, right? They did exactly all the things that everybody in this space asked for. They took all of the clothing in The Limited or very similar to it and then plussed it up to Lane Bryant sizing. They did that, and you know what happened? They lost their core base of customers, and the new customers that they gained were not enough to offset the core base that they lost. They lost so much money off of that, they sold it off, that The Limited washed their hands of it and was done with it, and then was picked up by Charming Shops. So I went through that transition. I recall how many customers we had who were very upset that we didn't have the tunics that they were looking for, that we didn't have the floral prints that they were looking for, that we didn't have the cold shoulder taps or the other things that they had grown accustomed to at this store that were gone, and thus we lost them as customers. I also know how many people really weren't that upset when they got rid of the more younger, trendier clothes, because let's be fair, most of it was so trendy, what we would call like a micro trend now, that a lot of people were not willing to drop $50 or $60 on jeans that were going to be out of style in just a few months. So the market just really wasn't there, at least not when I worked there. So whenever I hear individuals within these movements talk about how much they want these cute and trendy and stylish clothes, my only thought was, well, why didn't you come buy them when we had them? Now, I understand that this was years ago, but I understand the trend of what was sold in store, what demographic of customer was coming through the store to purchase in-person retail, and what people actually purchased when they got what they supposedly wanted. So it appears to me that our friend here doesn't really have a firm grasp on what the market is looking for, and she just understands what she is looking for. But don't just take my word for it. Let's go ahead and hear from another creator who has a response to Samyra, as well as other creators who have demanded these types of clothes be available in store.
I saw this video and I have a really controversial opinion about this, so let's talk about it. If you haven't seen the video, that's Samyra, and she's asking the question, why is Reb Dolls on the verge of being closed down, but companies like Victoria's Secret is still able to get funding? Now, in her video, she is insinuating, at least from what my understanding is, that the reason why Reb Dolls is struggling to get funding is because they're size inclusive. Because even though they do carry smaller sizes, they really do cater to bigger women. And here's my controversial opinion. Millionaires do not hate your body more than they love money.
Wow. That is hitting the nail on the head if I have ever heard it. Millionaires do not hate your body more than they love money. It's the exact thing that so many of us have said repeatedly in response to these individuals that keep claiming that they need to find all of these things in store. That if companies were making money off of this, they would continue to do it. If there's a way that these companies can make money or boost their profits, they're going to at every chance along the way.
I feel like this is a notion that is pushed out a lot on social media, where these companies are refusing to put plus size, fashionable plus size, not just plus size, actually good looking plus size clothes in stores because they have a problem with bigger bodies. But in reality, those items just don't do well on the report. I wanted to make this,
and that has been my experience as well.
This video a while ago, right? Because I remember when the summertime hit, it was so many videos of plus size women saying, I don't want Bermuda shorts, I want short shorts. Can I just get that at a size 26? You know who came out with that? Torrid, Lane Bryant, and Ashley Stewart. I just had to put a whole run of 3.5 shorts into clearance. I just had to put a whole run of crop tops into clearance. You know what I did not put into clearance? Was the Bermuda shorts. They actually was the first to go. I didn't put any cold shoulders. They were actually the first to go. The ugly ass floral, yep, none of that made it to clearance. But that bodycon dress that y'all get on social media and say that y'all want it so bad, That's in clearance. And I'll be surprised if my company even...
And that is exactly my experience as well. That those who want those items, the short shorts or the crop tops or the bodycon items, those who want them definitely want them. But the vast majority of people that came through my doors to shop never wanted that. And you have to imagine the wide range of demographics that are going to plus size stores. I mean, you're going to have people, probably teenagers all the way up to 70, 80 years old, right? I mean, that's a very wide range for them to have to figure out how they're going to make clothing for all of those people. And so I don't think most of these influencers like Samyra and Mighty Murph and Fash and so many others that are screaming from the rooftops that they want all of this in store, I don't think they truly understand that they are in a very small minority when it comes to that, at least when we're talking about the average plus size customer. I understand that on social media, we all kind of end up in our own little versions of echo chambers, right? And so when you're putting out this type of content saying they need to put this in store and they find their audience, they're going to keep hearing the same things over and over again, that they want all of this. They want all of this. Oh my gosh. And they're just not giving it to us. But then you go and you talk to people in the real world, and you don't just rely on the things you're getting in your comment sections or you're reading online. And you often find there's a big disconnect because real life has no algorithm. Real life is not curtailed to your wants and needs. That's kind of the beauty of it. But unfortunately, our feeds or our For You pages, they can become echo chambers. And oftentimes I find myself on different platforms having to go in and every once in a while just search for something completely off the wall to kind of throw off my algorithm so I don't keep getting the same videos or the same posts over and over again. So I find often that if you are online quite a bit, it's very easy to fall into that echo chamber and then assume that your position or your side or your stance is much more popular than it truly is in real life. Because all you've done is just find people who think like you. You're not getting an actual good cross section of the population.
Even decides to come out with 3.5 shorts next year because that's how bad they did on that paper. When you get your sell through report, when you get your week on hand report, and it says shorts, is all the 3.5. And the notion that the plus size women really truly do not want to have fashionable items is being solidified by companies like Eloquent and Red Dows being on the verge of closing, if not closed. I'm not saying it's to bash anybody. I'm saying...
And she's right. When companies have provided exactly what they're asking for and it's not getting supported, then it doesn't really truly feel like this community actually wants that. That it is just those that are speaking up about it that want it. So I fully understand that. And I saw what happened at Lane Bryant when we had poor sales performance with certain items. They would clearance it out. Sometimes they would reformulate it or rebrand it and see if they might be able to breathe a little bit of life back into it. But sometimes that was all she wrote. And those items were never to be seen again. They tried it and it failed and they didn't bring it back.
And as somebody who desperately wants plus size fashion to change and be elevated, but we have to start putting our money where our mouth is. You have to stop saying, hey, I want to have this in the store. I want y'all to change y'all style. They sprinkle in some fashion forward pieces. They're the full runs going to clearance. Do you think these same companies are going to develop another pair of shorts when you didn't buy the first pair? And a lot of y'all like to prank this narrative that it's a hatred to fat bodies, but it's a hatred to losing money. But these companies care about making money. And if they know that they can make a bag off of you, they would.
And I agree with every single thing that I just heard in that TikTok. That's honestly, I think, one of the first times that's happened. There was a couple of others, I will be honest. Definitely when we had Angelica Violet on here, I definitely agreed with hers. And there's been a few others here and there, but it's such a breath of fresh air, I have to be honest. Because these are the very same things that I know I have said and that I've heard so many other people say, that if these things sold, they would continue to sell them. And yet, if they're bringing them out and they're not selling, where is the incentive for these companies to keep doing this? And I'm not trying to be a company apologist by any stretch, as I mean, they're a nameless, faceless organization. I'm not going to be sitting here trying to go to bat for them or anything like that. But I can understand the reality of things and the reality of business. Whether or not I like it or appreciate it, I can understand that that is how it works. And so it was just very refreshing to hear from another person within retail exactly what I had experienced. That when they did try to bring more trendy, fashion-forward items, most of them ended up on clearance. So there we have it, our friend Samyra, and what I'm going to title, What Not to Do in a Fitting Room, where our friend is demanding more sizes and more options in store, so that way she evidently can use them as props in her videos and inadvertently make the best case I have ever seen for online shopping. But maybe that's just me. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think? I'm genuinely curious and I love reading all of your responses. That is where we will leave things today. I thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I know I will be staying warm, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! So I'm not the only one who likes my blanket. Oh, my Pokey. She legitimately climbs into my sweatshirts, my robes, anything like this that I'm wearing. She always has to climb inside with me and burrow her little head down in. Oh, is it cuddle season, baby girl? Are you super excited that it's cuddle season? Can we see your beautiful eyes? You want to go back inside? Is that better? What would you like, kitten? I'm not sure. What do you want? Do you want to stay in or you want out? Do you know what you want? Well, normally she jumps up onto my shoulder and then she jumps down and then I say goodbye, but I don't think that's happening tonight. So I guess we'll just stay warm. Bye.